and this is episode 102 of Double Cross Anime. Um, it's like at the very end of May at the moment, and we have been like doing this for like 2.5 years, I think. That's pretty long.
Almost. If we do one more month, it'll be 2.5 years.
Wow.
It
Well,
is a long
still,
time.
still, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
So today we're gonna talk about episode 9 of the Wotate. Episode 9 of
Kakushigoto?
Kakushigoto, thank you. And episode 8 of Kaguya-sama 2 and the second film of the Garden of Sinners.
Yeah.
What?
Are you
Shall we
excited?
start? A bit.
Okay.
Alright, let's go with Kaguya-sama then.
Okay. I thought that the first segment in this episode was really, really good.
Oh, really? Alright.
Yeah.
It's the one
thought it was-
where...
I thought it was like vintage Kaguya-sama.
that was the one where alright, well they alright, I don't even know how to describe that.
It's the one that
script.
takes place entirely in the student council room,
Right.
where Ino has issues with like all of the other student council members' behavior, except for Chika.
Right.
And the thing that makes it so great, I think, is that like all 5 characters are involved in the dialogue. Like oftentimes, it isn't just a series of like one-on-one conversations, like cutting back and forth between, let's say for example, Kaguya and Shirogane talking, and then it cuts over to, Chika and Ino talking to one another. All of the student council members are all involved in this discussion about their behavior and how they're going to get Ino on board, and like this plot to make it so that she doesn't get mad for 1 hour, and then Ishigami gets this big thing where he sweeps his leg up and like slams his foot on the table, and then it pivots to the idea that Chika has about like taking silly selfies and uploading them to social media, which is of course against the rules. And then Kaguya, of course, gets it in her head that she wants the president to find her attractive in the taking of these photos. Like it's all the characters' relationships to one another are used to create a bigger story. And I thought it was really cool. I thought that
Alright.
task was like accomplished very well.
Right. Alright, I think I'm glad that you like the first skit. For me, it's just like normal for me. I'm not really like head over heel over that skit. Because I do think that at the moment still serve as like the straight man.
Yeah, but she kind of gets roped into the craziness in this segment.
Yeah.
That's part of what's so
A
great
little
about
bit.
it, is that she's encouraged to start seeing things their way. Like she's entering a new world, kind of.
Yeah. I think the moment that got me the most is how Ishigami trying to get on in the nerve. I really like that.
He's trying
You
to.
know-
Oh yeah, with the when he
Yeah.
puts up his leg and he slams this. You get the Dazaki 1, 2, 3, like the same
Yep.
the same
Yep.
action 3 times. Yeah, except it's
Yep,
from
yep,
different
yep.
angles, so it looks like, oh, this is so cinematic.
Yeah, love that. Not really a fan of how Kaguya behave in this skit or even like in this episode. She's a bit more emotionally, burst out, which I think is like her new mode. It's the mode of the second season that she have been behaving so far.
How has she been behaving?
Not uh, like really emotional outbursts.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the case in the third episode or the third chapter. of this episode, right? Like
But
because she goes to the hospital and stuff.
yeah.
As a result of the almost kiss, that's kind of what like sets her off.
All right. One fun fact though that I actually watching the episode with my sister and she watching this for the first time, and like while we watching it, I was wonder that if like a newcomer who didn't know about the story would find this episode amusing. To answer that, I say like she was a bit amusing with the whole thing. So I do think I don't think that this episode is like a newcomer friendly, but it's still like funny enough to get her a chuckle too.
It's the 20th episode of the season.
Right. Yeah, that's
It's
right.
not going to be newcomer friendly. It's episode 20.
Yeah. I know. So, but like I she enjoy it. She enjoy like some of the some of the moment. It especially towards the third one. She actually like immediately when she see about the doctor, she said like he must have something to do with Kaguya's mother. And she was right. I was really impressed.
Something to do with Kaguya's mother.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's their family doctor.
He was her crush. Oh, sorry, she was his crush.
Wait, really? I remember that at the very end of the episode, he's like leaning out of a window and he says,
Yep. Your daughter doing fine, I think. I think that's what she said. That's what he said.
yeah, and then he uses her name. He
Right.
says some woman's name. I guess that's Kaguya's mother's name.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Oh man, I didn't even make that connection.
Yep.
Wow, that's interesting.
That's interesting. I think that is why that like at the beginning when they introduce him as like one of the top 10 doctor in the world, and how when he immediately hear about Kaguya, about the family Kaguya having uh, falling sick, he would like cancel everything to in order to see her,
Right.
to check on her. Sorry.
Oh man, what if Kaguya is actually his daughter? Dun dun
No,
dun.
no, no. I wouldn't go that way. No, no, no.
What if
That
Kaguya
is too
is his
far.
love child?
Oh. All right. No, no, no.
That's my theory now. I'm sorry. That's that's just the way it is. I liked that chapter too.
Hmm.
I mean, it was mostly the same joke over and over. You know, Kaguya
Mhm.
is refusing to acknowledge her crush on the president. You
Mhm.
know, once, twice, thrice, 10 times, 20 times.
Mhm.
Um, but one thing that I did really like the way that they wrapped it up, you know, because the narrator always comes in and declares a victor or a loser
Mhm.
in in every segment, and this time it was Hayasaka. Because she was so humiliated at how dumb Kaguya was being, she was the loser. So I think that kind of helped to redeem the entire concept.
Yeah, the way that she cover her face like for the entire of the skit, because he was like I'm going, what did she say exactly?
She said, "This is the hospital. This is my hospital too, and now I can't come back here because I'm
Right.
so embarrassed."
I can show my face here. Yeah, she said that.
Yeah, that was amusing.
Right.
But I did start to think, like, as the episode was winding down in this third section, I was like, all right, so she does, yeah, she's not gonna say that she likes the president. Okay, that's I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they really did hammer that point home.
Right.
But what I think makes it successful is the contrast between the doctor's super serious, like demeanor, and even his design. It's like
Right.
it's very detailed. You can see all like the wrinkles in his face, and there's like the thick lines used to outline his character. Like he's from a different universe,
Yep. True.
like he's kind of encroaching in Kaguya's little mental fortress that she's created for herself, and he's barging in and being like,
It,
"Yeah, you're. I'm sorry to tell you this, but you like a boy. You like somebody,
yep.
you know. So
I
time to face facts."
yep. I his design, his character design remind me of Keiji, the series. Don't know why. Um, Kaichi
I mean, he
actually.
doesn't have a triangle nose. It doesn't look exactly like one of Fukumoto's designs.
Right, right. And
Um,
what else? And I love the fact that when he diagnosis Kaguya and told her that like you fell in love, and we see like a little koi fish.
yeah, because she is
And
mistaking
yeah,
koi as in love for koi as in the animal.
yeah. And whenever she tried to defend herself, that koi fish just keep like a flappering, like just appear. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that visual.
How about the middle chapter, the locked in the storage shed
Well,
trope?
at first I thought like, oh my god, that's a very tropey. Like every single romance anime have this, have this moment. Um,
I mean, the show
then it
acknowledges it
turned,
pretty quickly
yeah, yeah, that's
that it
right.
is a
Then the show
cliche.
acknowledged it, and then the show like it turned out that none of them had planted it, and like both of them thought that the others was the mastermind behind it. So it kind of a bit of like transverse the trope, which doesn't really satisfy the new kids. Like it is really choppy.
I mean, yeah, it is, but the show isn't ignorant of that fact. And in fact, the usually in those situations, I think in anime series, nobody, it's an accident. It usually is an accident, and it was this time as well. So actually, it's the characters
Mm-hmm.
assuming that the other one has set up the scenario. They're the ones who are kind of viewing it as it's not just the show explaining itself really quickly and being like, okay, we're going to do the storage shed thing. It's actually, I mean, the show does kind of point that out with the narrator, but it's Kaguya and Shirogane's like inner monologues that are commenting on it more than anything because they think, oh, of course the other character has, Shirogane was the one who, quote unquote trapped us in here, or oh, of course, well, Kaguya is secretly in love with me, so she must have made it so that we can't escape. It's the show is using the characters to comment on that,
Mm-hmm.
and of course that ends up falling through when they realize it's not real.
Yeah, and of course, like at the moment that they are nearly kissing each other, someone will interfere.
Yes, well, I mean, you got to complete the cliche.
Yeah, true, true.
Yeah, and Kaguya is like getting up and running over to Ino like she's
Oh
scared.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I actually like that. She turned the whole thing around.
Yeah, that was actually my least favorite part. Like
Oh,
she's gotten into the situation like so close to the president, and then someone spots her, so she has to like start crying and acting like a virginal schoolgirl. Like, oh no, a boy got close to me.
yeah. Well, she is a virginal schoolgirl.
Yeah, but that's true. But when you're like conceptualizing the story and writing it, you get to decide how the characters handle themselves and their situations and their emotions. Uh, and that's that moment when Ino busts in and Kaguya, like the spell is broken, and Kaguya goes back to acting like no.
I'm the victim.
Yeah, is like you know, I don't. I'm not desperate for she and Shirogane or her and Shirogane to like get together or anything. I'm not one of those people who says, "Oh man, a romantic comedy is there's got to be a payoff, man. It's just terrible. Anime romance is bad because there's never any payoff, man."
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I enjoy the humor more than anything else, but
Yeah.
the show like pretty much erases everything that happened between the two of them and goes one step further and is like, "Oh, that's gross. I don't like boys. They scare me. I'm in love and I have to go to the hospital when he touches my hair."
All right. Would I to say that the second is my least favorite out of the three. I'm kind of amusing of the third one, so I like the third one the most.
Well, the first one is definitely my favorite. It reminded me of this sitcom that I really love called Community, which often there's like
Mm,
7 main characters in a in
in a
a in a
row.
gr- in a group. Yes, and it often constructs scenes where all 7 of them are sitting around a table like in one room and they talk for an extended period of time.
Hmm.
I really like when characters are kind of bottled up that way, so that all the humor like arises from their relationships with each other,
Well,
rather than
for
there being some like special event,
yeah,
that kind of kicks everything off.
I think like in the live action context, that is like one of the way that they can cut the budget. It really
Oh yeah,
sell budget that all the characters just stay in one room.
yes, oh
But
for
you
sure.
need
When
to
you're not
have like
shooting
a
on
really
location, yeah,
yeah, that's right. But you need to have like a really good screenplay dialogue, because otherwise everything just fall flat.
yeah. Oh, that's certainly true. The script needs to be there.
Yeah.
I thought that it was for that first chapter. I really
Mm,
enjoyed it. The third one is more like situational comedy,
that's right.
because of the contrast between the doctor and like the doctor's diagnosis and Kaguya's mentality, and also the fact
Mm,
that they've gone to a new place, like they've left the zone of comfort and are now at the hospital. So there's a contrast there too.
yeah. All right. So let's move on to the next shows.
All right, Dan,
All
that's
right.
yes.
Yep. Yesterday know what that say.
I used to have a boss who, instead of saying "all right," then would say "all right, Dan."
Really? All right.
Yeah, all right, Dan. He was Southern.
All right. Uh,
Anyway, that's not anime related.
I just thought that like the Japanese say that, so I didn't really respond to
Oh
that.
no. I mean, I don't know Japanese. I probably know like 50 Japanese words. That's it.
That like they're like the most common Japanese term that we hear in anime.
Yeah, those would be the ones that I know.
Yep. Yep. All right. How do you think about these episodes?
I think that Shinako needs to get laid.
All right. All right. E- Either Ro or Rico,
Dude, I
or
no, no, I don't even think it
preferably
matters.
both.
I don't think it matters. But she is pretty clearly like frustrated. She's hanging around Rico all the
Mm-hmm.
time, will not allow
Mm-hmm.
herself to like make a
Like
move
anyone.
or have a move made on her. She goes over to Rose's house and sits for a portrait, and then like she's stuck in her own head, and in the silence she starts to like her mind starts to move into like a more romantic, like I would say sexual avenue. Um,
All right.
and then she's like, wait, what am I doing? I got this is weird. I got to get out of here. She's just like she needs to she needs to
Drill.
she needs to have sex.
All right. The way Rose said at the time wasn't really appropriate either.
What, the joke that he makes at the end,
Yeah,
like maybe you should.
loosen your shirt
Yeah,
more. Relax
yeah,
in that kind of
yeah.
situation.
Well, I mean, the way that she reacts to that, like she skitters out of the apartment, like, oh
Yeah,
no, this. If you're gonna be like that, then I'm out of here. That's like that just proves to
yeah.
me that she has sex on the brain. Like
All
she,
right.
it seems to me that that's a need that she has, and I mean, she's gone without. I'm not even sure that she ever has been with a guy, but it's something that it's like a physical need, and
Mhm. All
she's
right.
not tending to it.
Um, this episode, I think is still fine. It's still like really good the way that yes they know what they have been very consistent. Still though, I think that all the relationship are in the standstill in this episode, so there are not really any significant development between the four characters, like each of them.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like at the same point since the episode began, like since last episodes, let's say.
Yeah, it's true, and the show is, you can tell that the show is kind of at a looping, because the last three episodes, 7, 8, and 9, have all had a cliffhanger where Shinako shows up at somebody's house.
That is true. Yep.
She shows up at, I think at the end of episode 7, she no. At the end of episode 7, she invites Riko up to her apartment. At the end of episode 8, she shows up at Ro's apartment, or rather, Ro comes home and she's already there, cooking. I think. And then at the end of this one, she shows up at Fukuda's little Christmas get together with his wife and Fukuda and Rikuo.
Rikuo, yeah.
So it's all about Shinako right now, and I'm mad because Haru needs an episode. Like, she got the short end of the stick in this one. Well, she's, the first time we see her, she's rolling around on her bed hugging a pillow like, I miss Rikuo.
All right. Well, I would say like 40% of the episode is about Haru, though.
No way.
Yeah, well, she got her moment of like missing Rikuo. Let's say out loud that she missing Rikuo. What does she? We see a lot of scene of her working, but like absent-mindedly thinking of Rikuo.
Okay,
we saw
so
another
far you've
scene
said
of
Rikuo's
her
name like
working
3 times.
Yeah, well, like all all the thing that she have been doing in the episode is like like standing, waiting in front of the man house.
Which man?
Missing him or Rico.
There you go. That's number 4.
Missing him or even like when working on the Christmas, still like looking over the entrance door, thinking of the certain someone will appear.
A certain someone. Who do you mean?
Ro, of course.
She's in prison.
Yeah.
Haru is in like story jail right now. She's isolated from everybody else. She's pining after one character. She's not even part of the picture right now. I want a Haru episode.
Yeah. I actually when Haru was like working on the Christmas day and looking at the entrance door, I was hoping that it's Shinako who show up. Like before that she was like, it's only 8 o'clock. Where do I go?
Oh, was that the order of events? I didn't even think about that.
That's the order of the event.
Well, I don't think Shinako has ever been to Milk Hall. I don't know if she would have a reason to go.
Yeah, well, just to visit Haru, I think it would make sense in that context as well.
I guess, yeah. I mean, we see less and less of her as a teacher these days. Like, so her connection to her students is not being emphasized. It really is all about her love life right now. But yeah, I mean, she could have gone by and seen Haru. That would have been interesting.
Or even Riko would have like come to visit Haru, but instead we got like Shinako and Riko meeting again. And,
yeah, of course.
I don't think, like I know the show. I don't think that there will be any significant moment like development gonna be happen between them in this Christmas Eve.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, although Fukuda's wife, that pretty brown-haired woman, does seem to be like into the idea that the two of them getting together. She's playing matchmaker.
Right.
So she might push for it.
Though.
Yeah, I mean, Fukuda is obviously the best character if he managed to, put a ring on her finger.
Yeah, to score a good girl,
But they'll probably be divorced in 5 years. Don't worry.
Oh, don't say that.
Why? I mean, statistically, they probably will be.
Yeah, when they have like two kids, like it happened a lot when like the second kids come out, like all the pressure
Really?
on this. Yeah.
The second child. Yeah.
Th-
I guess that makes sense.
all right.
You realize, like, you do it the first time, and then you're like, oh, well, that was really hard, but at least, at least we've gotten the ball rolling. And then it happens again, and you're like, I don't want to do this again with
Yeah.
this person. Give me those divorce papers.
Oh
I
god.
want to find somebody else to do this with.
I think that there is when Rico reflect on like when he look at the pictures of him and Shinako and Fukuda in when they were in uni. Rico thought that like the more closer that he got to Shinako, the more that he just can't express his feeling to Shinako, and just wanted to stay friend. And then that in that moment he immediately think of Haru, because Haru was basically doing exactly the same.
Right.
So I was thinking that like it might have got to the point that Rico come to see Haru point of view for the first time regarding their relationship to each other. So I was really hoping that he would show up to see Haru in the Christmas Eve, but the show take it down.
Yeah. That's a good. I hadn't really thought about that. That the reason he thought of her in that moment was because he realized that he and Haru were in similar situations.
Yep.
So I suppose I suppose that also was a potential link to somebody visiting Haru, during her Christmas Eve shift or Christmas, whatever day it was.
Uh-huh.
But instead that didn't happen because we're getting the Shinako push
Yep.
very hard right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And all Haru gets is like, an opportunity to wait in the cold for a long time
Yeah.
without seeing the guy she likes.
Yeah, I still think that was really cool of Rico to say that to Haru. Like she only
That she shouldn't wait outside his work and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, like she always have that approach in order to stay near him at this point of time, and you just cut that throat off.
yeah, I still don't think that was like inappropriate or rude of him to say. Like,
It's not, it's just cold. I just don't I don't think that he is rude. It's just insensitive.
I don't think so. Like, he's being clear with her.
Yeah, yeah, that's true as well.
Like, what should he do? Continue to, like, let her hang around him when he's not interested in her?
Yeah, yeah.
That would be insensitive, I think. To
Yeah.
be like, oh yeah, keep waiting for me outside of my work, which is 3 train stations away from like where you get off of your job. That's something Haru says in this episode. Like, she's contemplating, should I keep waiting for him after work? It's 3 stations away or 3 stops. It's out of her way, and he. I don't think he was like insensitive or anything to say, hey, listen, you should not do this. Don't wait for me.
Yep.
But I don't know. I mean, I kind of hope that rather than her seeking him out again, that he'll be the one to go and see her.
Yep. Yep.
Because I
Yep.
think that would be like a nice gesture. Obviously he doesn't want her to be hanging around all the time waiting for him and pining after him and stuff. But for him to go and see her and like, just briefly say hello, have a chat, maybe go out for a small meal and then go home. They go their separate ways. I think that would, he would at least be like, not forgetting about her or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. It's not that they are not remaining friends after this. They're still friends.
Yeah, but I mean, it's obvious to both of them that she doesn't just want to be friends.
Yep. So it's it's hard for me to think about what the show gonna develop from here. But if I have a guess, I think that they're gonna push forward the Riko and Shinako ship before
The ship.
um yeah, well, before Rico, Mike, before maybe they get apart and Rico and Haru together. Not sure.
Man, I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna do. What's gonna go on?
Yeah.
Who
It's not
knows?
really, yeah, it's not really about their job either. Like in the episode we don't see much of either Shinako at school or Rico at work, like doing
Yeah,
the proper taking picture job.
yeah. I mean, we did get a lot of that in the last episode, though,
Yeah, yeah, true.
or at least a lot of conversation about it and a montage about it.
Mhm.
This isn't a show. There is an anime about photography, isn't there? Isn't there some that it's like some cute girl thing where they're in the photography club. Oh, what was that show that we watched that we got through like 9 episodes of on the podcast? That was
Oh,
kind of
really?
about photography.
All right, I remember a show, a romance show about a group of photography. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I remember the one that you was talking about. The one you was talking about is Iroduku.
Yeah, The World in Colors or
Yeah.
something.
The one that
But
the
yeah,
one that I was thinking about was Tanaku. Is that love? Oh my god.
are you
It's
thinking of
from
Tamako? It's not Tamako Love Story.
no.
It's
It's from the same
it's like Tamayura more aggressive.
Nana. It's the one Tanakun the Not For in Love, I think. This is the one from the same creator of
Gekkan Shoujo. You're talking about Tadakun.
yeah, that's right.
I didn't know that was about photography. I guess I
It,
forgot that. I only watched one episode.
yeah, it was about photography, and I watched the whole season of that. So yeah, remember
Okay.
that.
I'm pretty
Not
sure
the
there's
show.
been another one too, like a more kind of traditional early to mid 2010s cute girls doing cute things show, like Tamayura
Oh
or
yeah.
something like that. And then the sequel
Tam
is Tamayura, more aggressive.
yeah.
I think that's
Tama
about photography.
Yumi or Tama?
No,
Yeah.
it's not. It's
I
not Yumi.
yeah, I remember the show that you were talking about. Yeah,
It's like
don't remember
in the
the name.
style of a KyoAni cute girl show, but it's not KyoAni, I don't think.
Mm. Yep. All
Anyway,
right. Yep.
Kakushigoto?
Kaguya-sama, which again, I say that every week. So I just hold saving my breath here.
What do you mean you say that every week? What do you say every week? That it's just like gags and stuff?
Now I say that every week that I enjoy the episodes, but when it comes to remember stuff from the episode, I have a hard time.
Oh, I'll tell you what I remember. There was a touch reference.
Is it? Alright, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. What was that?
At the very beginning when they're talking about the party and
Yep.
the like kind of the sandy haired assistant girl with a nice figure is like she's like take us to the party and he at this point I think he's received word that there is no party.
Mhm.
I don't know the order of events, but anyway, she's like take us to the party and he says no, and she pouts. Like she kind of leans up against the wall and pouts, and he says, "Don't pout like Minami-chan," who is
Oh,
the main female character in Touch.
alright.
Um, I think the two anime that I've seen referenced more often than anything else
Yep.
in other anime are Evangelion and Touch. I've seen so many Touch references just like in the last couple years alone of watching seasonal anime.
That's just amazing. Is that really that popular?
Yeah,
Dutch?
it was huge.
Oh,
It was massive back in the 80s.
yeah, alright. Cool.
So that's what I remember. There was a Touch reference, and that's about it.
I think there is a lot of reference to the real life, especially the publisher, which I don't have a knowledge on, so I'm not really sure if it's like the real reference or not.
Well, the one that they work for is called Godansha, which is just one letter away from Kodansha, which is a real publisher.
Yep, yep, yep.
So yeah, they are clearly meant to be employees of Kodansha.
Yeah.
But they, for copyright reasons or whatever the reasons are, they
Yeah.
changed the name. And then the party that they go to, like the other publishing company whose
Mhm.
party they go to at the hotel because they're not cheapos,
Yeah.
is Mangazine.
Oh, all right.
And I don't know what that's supposed to be a reference to. But, I mean, it's probably just a parody of the word magazine.
All right, because I have here another name of Chugakukan.
Yeah, I think I've heard that as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
I know what you're referring to.
Right.
But I'm sure there's a bunch of publishing companies, and a lot of the popular manga publications are probably falling under the umbrellas of like just 3 or 4 of them. That's how
Mhm.
that sort of thing works. Like, there's a couple of massive publishing companies at the top, and then they just buy out the smaller ones that start to that
Yeah,
hit the
yeah.
ground running and start to build a following. They just get bought out.
Yeah.
That's how the same people stay in power for decades and decades and just amass more wealth.
Well, that's the same thing happened in other industry, I think.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
just the big fish eat the small fish and survive.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. But enough
all
about
right.
finance and politics.
We just merely touch on that, though.
This episode, there's a sequence of gags that are like sort of language based
Yeah.
that I was able to follow, but I wouldn't be able to like tell you why it's funny without completely destroying the joke. Do you remember how in the elementary school scene where like Hime and her friends are looking out the window, they see their PE teacher running?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And
And they said about
there's
sensei.
Yes, exactly. And then midway through the episode, there's a series of events that culminate in Goto running, and so
Yeah.
she calls her dad sensei, and then he thinks, "Oh, she's found me out," et cetera, et cetera. I
Yeah.
was like, the initial spark for that sequence is based in language somehow.
Mhm.
Like the idea that running makes you a sensei. There's some pun there that I don't get, some cultural thing. But I was able to follow the joke anyway, and so when she calls him sensei, I was like, oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
But
I
if I were Japanese, I think I probably would have like laughed out loud. But instead I was just like, yes.
Yeah.
I
Well,
see.
I actually like that joke because the way that people address sensei, I don't know if it's like the kids address that. Yeah, it was a kid. Like all the job that are respectable, like a teacher, doctor, like all the respectable job will they will refer them as sensei. But then they got the mangaka who they address sensei as well, and the inside joke is like they the producer say sensei it's more like a mock. It's more like not seriously.
Yeah, it's like disrespectful. It's sarcastic and ironic.
Yeah, that's right. So
Yeah.
so that's what I get, and I that's what I think is amusing in a way. That's how the culture work. And so when he may say like, yeah, you are a sensei, and it was like, oh, you found me out. I found that a bit amusing in that sense.
I don't. Yeah. It's true that the episode kind of craps on mangaka,
Mhm.
not just by pointing out that some people, like particularly their editors and other people within the industry, use the term like pejoratively,
Yeah.
but also like talking about how if you want to identify a manga artist or author at a party, you look for somebody who's dressed really poorly, but is also accompanied by someone who's dressed very well because they need to be supervised.
Yeah.
So they, they're kind of the obviously the author of Kagoshigoto, whose name I can't remember, is like taking the piss. You know, he's
Yeah.
uh, making fun of himself and of other and of the general stereotypes that people have. But
Mm.
like at the same time, I think it's a Japanese thing to respect, um, like the when people call manga authors, and it's not just manga authors either. Like I'm sure that musicians, like accomplished musicians and painters and artists in general, I'm sure that they're called sensei. I've heard that
Yeah.
in anime, you know. So I think that like Japanese culture has a built-in appreciation for art that
Mm.
kind of elevates artists to the same position as lawyers, doctors, um,
Mm. Mm.
etc. Because in America we do not have that.
Mm.
Like doctors and lawyers are seen as like, the gods of and politicians, I suppose. Everyone knows
Mm.
politicians are dirty, but like, lawyers,
Mm.
doctors, people in politics, they're seen as like the gods of society.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
Whereas creatives are seen as kind of like middlemen. But in Japan, especially, I guess because like throughout their history, there have been periods of Japanese history where like wars have been waged over art. We saw that in Hyogemono.
mm.
Like it's integral to their culture. So I think it's cool that they would
Mm.
use the same honorific sensei for all those
Well,
people.
yeah. I would like to add that though that in America, like Hollywood movie star, they are really powerful too.
That's true. They do have a lot of influence.
Mm.
But I don't think that in Japan you would you call an actor sensei?
If they are respectable, I think I think though like people who are in who are doing the um some traditional art, they would be called sensei. I don't know if like the actor and actress they people would could have sensei or not.
I kind of don't think they would. I think
Mm.
it's the people who are like creating the stories and
Right.
and drawing creating the art, drawing what you see and writing what you hear. I think it's those people who are addressed more formally and more respectfully. And I think the actors are. I mean, while the actors are more visible and probably have more people, um, you know, following them, I suppose,
Mhm.
or in caring about their
All right.
who they are and stuff.
Would you say that there are people who perform rakugo will be considered as sensei or not?
Oh yes, I mean I can remember people being called sensei in Showa Roku Rakugo Shinju.
Hmm. So yeah,
And
I
f-
think it's
and
gotta
and
depend.
for the masters, they had even another term beyond that. Kind of like there was a term beyond sensei in this episode of Kakushigoto. There was another term beyond sensei for, um, like the grand masters of Rakugo.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, I have a question though. That you remember like Hime and the Indonesian girl Nadila was invited to the party. Where is the Indonesian girl at the end of? She disappeared.
Yeah, I thought about that for a second when, like, because she gets the invitation to the karaoke
Yep.
place from the producer who she calls CEO, and yeah, so she goes there, and I don't know what happens to her after that. Like the show just forgets about her. Uh,
Or maybe
I guess
she's
she went home when Goto like went and got Hime
all right.
because her job was done at that point.
I guess he stayed to sing the karaoke by herself.
That'd be
So
pretty.
so
That would have been really cute if there had been an eye catch of that. Just like
yeah
the way Kaguya-sama does after
yeah
a
yeah
segment ends. There's just that would have been neat.
yeah because Tomarun he actually just like kind of fuck everything fuck everything up in the other party in the main
Yeah,
party.
that's true. He's definitely the fool of this episode.
Well,
Although Goto does, get his suit ripped up, and he has to
yeah
wear uh, a lolicon like shirt on the
Yeah.
way home.
Yeah, I'm the manga artist, and they was like, nah, a manga artist doesn't wear suit. You are
Right.
the spy.
Yeah. Dude, I can't imagine wearing any sort of like merchandise with a little anime girl character on it. I could never wear something like that in public. I would rather, like, even if you paid me
Cosplay.
$1,000, I wouldn't do it.
All right.
There are so many other things I would do for $1,000 before I would do that.
All right. Would you rather cosplay than wearing those shirts? They are different though. Then.
Well, yeah, I mean cosplay as who?
Yeah, it's just some character that you like.
Just like a normal character that's not going to get me like shamed. Yes, I would
Yeah.
obviously rather do that than wear that disgusting shirt.
Well, well, at long as you can you can wear something to hide it, it should be all right.
Yeah, but then that defeats the whole purpose of like the hypothetical scenario of wearing the shirt. That's
Yeah.
man. I mean, you saw how he was covering up his chest,
Uh,
and he was walking with his little daughter
yeah.
down the street wearing that shirt. That's like, oh god, that I just ugh.
All right. A little confession though. I have one shirt that have like a characters like in uh like that, like in the center of the shirt. But it's like a whole model. It's not like just the face.
That's well,
Well,
that's your life. You get to do whatever you want. I'm not your dad. But I have zero anime shirts, and I really doubt that I ever will. Like,
yeah.
I'm not that into it.
Well, it's the character from Ruby, so it's not really anime.
Ah, I see. I mean, I did see one day at my old job.
Yeah.
I did see a customer come in one time who had like the sickest Cowboy Bebop shirt ever, and I asked him. I was like, "Hey, that's a sweet shirt. Where did you get that, dude?" And he told me the name of the place where he got it, and I actually went there intending to buy the shirt, and they didn't have it. They were sold out.
Oh, well,
But it was really cool too. I can't picture what it looks like anymore, but it was like all the characters in silhouette with like a bunch like text kind of like I don't know. It was neat.
all right. What I mean is that if the design is good enough, I will willing to wear them. If the design is like like what we saw in the episode with like the face of the lowly characters, nah, not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's no.
That's a lie.
That's just too much. That's that stuff needs
Too much.
to. I don't know. I'm good.
All
I'm
right,
good
all
on
right.
that.
Yeah, as long as people willing to wear it, why not? Why not selling it? So the fault is fall from the consumer, not the one who do it.
Sure. I'll go along with that.
Right. All right. Yeah, yeah. Another thing is like we get a glimpse of the present day, where we see one of Koto assistant now selling books and papers, and we saw that in one of the books the name of Goto is missing, so he's missing at the moment. He's not dying, I think.
Well, yeah, it says he's missing, but then the assistant says that's a lie.
Yeah. So I just think like in the present timeline he just kind of disappearing, like spirited away, not really like dying or something. That's what I think.
I mean, the book says that he's missing,
Mm-hmm.
and the bookseller says that's a lie, implying that him being
Yeah, it's a
missing is a lie.
yeah, but
So
it
he
doesn't
either
mean
knows
that
where
he
he
dead.
is or he's dead.
Right. Hmm. I just don't think that he's dead.
Well, I mean, it's very possible that he isn't, and the show is just wasting our time with extended, scenes of,
Yeah.
oh, where is he? The daughter's all alone. Ooh. Just kidding. that could
Yep.
be.
All right. You have any other note on Kakushikoto?
Nope. I'm ready for the movie.
All right. The Garden of Sinner 2.
Murder
Uh,
speculation A.
yeah. All right.
Murder speculation? What do you mean? You saw her standing over a decapitated body with blood spurting out of its neck. What do you mean speculation? What's the
Um.
what why the foundation of
All
this
right.
film is that you're into this woman, you see her standing next to a like a body with its head cut off and you're like, "Oh
Be
no, I didn't see anything." What do you mean? What
all right because she doesn't have the weapon with her.
She's standing right next to the body.
Yeah, she's standing right next to the body. That's right. And it was the body was it's still bleeding, so it just
And she has an alter ego that is obsessed with murder and talks about it all the time.
yeah.
Like happily.
All right. All right. So first thing first. How you feel about the film? The second film. How it's compared to the first one?
Uh, I don't know, I think it's better.
All right. Right.
I was definitely into the first few minutes, like the how it opened silently, and the snow was falling, and we get that shot overlooking a street, and slowly what's his name, Kakuto. What is his name?
Oh,
The guy's name.
Kokuto.
Kokuto.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You see Kokuto like slowly emerge, as he's walking up the hill, and then he walks by Shiki. I thought that was a really atmospheric way to like
Introduce.
to open the film, for it to be silent, for it to be kind of natural, because the snow is falling, so we're getting in like an element of nature, just like. And there are a lot more images of the natural world in this film than there were in the first one, which was like totally urban. Whereas there's a little bit more of a contrast to this one, which I think is appropriate, given that it's contrasting like the two halves of Shiki's personality and of Kokuto's attraction to her versus his sane, rational mind, which he completely throws away in the second half.
All right. Yeah. Do we know about Shiki's special power? Except that she have like she have split personality.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't see her eyes do that weird purple and blue glowy thing. If that's what you mean. I don't even know if she has a special power at this point. That may come later, because this is like the origin story. This is the first movie chronologically.
Right.
So she may obtain whatever powers we saw in the first film. She may get them later. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know right now is that she has a split personality, or at least she says that she does.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Because it's hard to find out, though, especially that we got like the first episode, the first movie that we saw last week. So I just think like which Shiki that in the first movie that we saw. Is that like the evil Shiki who want to kill everyone, who want to even kill Kokuto, or is
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean by evil?
Oh yeah, she's not evil. There's no murderer here.
Right. No, I didn't see anything.
Yeah. And Shiki was really disturbed by that too. Like, why don't you tell the police about me? You saw me there. What the heck?
It's like she's criticizing the plot of the movie that she's in.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't think that she's the murderer.
Yeah.
I think that because this is part A, so there's a part B where I assume the truth will be revealed, and it was actually somebody else or some specter or ghost doing all the killing. And she's just like drawn to murder, because of her alter ego. There's some supernatural element to it, and she's drawn to death. So she appears wherever someone, dies.
About to die.
Yeah. So that's yeah. I mean, I don't think that she's actually the killer, just to be clear. But the
No.
movie still goes about portraying Kokuto's reaction to what he's seen in a very like half-assed way. There,
Mhm.
he's not. If I'm gonna believe that he as a character is going to continue like pursuing Shiki and beginning to acknowledge to himself that he's attracted to her after he has seen this gruesome event, I need way more details about this guy. I need to know
Right.
how exactly he is so fucked up that he can actually like go down this train of thought and be
Yep.
like, yeah, I mean, I know I saw her next to a body that was like spraying blood from its open neck wound, but man, I'm really into this girl.
Yep. Yep. I agree. I would love to see more. It's not like it's not if not because of how fuck up he is that he think that's it's a normal thing. Um I want to see more of like his obsession to Shiki that like doesn't matter what he see he will be convinced that Shiki was not the one behind killing on these cops. So I need to see more of him, not like the moment that he saw he saw the scenes, he throw up, and the next moment we see that like he didn't he already make up his mind.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
his but like biologically, and I mean, I guess um, mentally as well, his body is like rejecting what he's seen when he throws up.
Mhm.
Um, so I suppose that by throwing up, he was purging himself of all of his doubts about Shiki. That was a metaphor, I
Mhm.
guess. Oh boy. Yeah,
Or-
yeah. No, I agree. We like this film. I can't reconcile all the scenes of him like eating lunch with Shiki on the school rooftop
mhm.
with the version of him that is like camping outside of her house every day after he's seen this terrible quote unquote murder. Like
Yep.
yeah, we need this film should be way darker. Like he should be kind of a messed up character who does have this obsession with this person. And
Mhm.
we need to watch that develop. And an hour is not enough time. And even if it had double that time, I still think that the way that it's going about it, like making him a normal sort of ordinary high school student who like suddenly sees this gruesome event, he's not getting like sucked into another state of mind. There's no like descent
Mhm.
into the second arc of the film, like it
Mhm.
just is content for a regular old person to be really into this terrifying woman. And that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But the whole story is being told out of order, so what the hell do I know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I even found that the on the scenes where they are in the rooftop are really weird. By that I mean like it doesn't feel real to me. The way that like on the we see like on the supporting all these crew and extra, but they are like in still. So I'm not I'm not really sure that like we're supposed to feel that it's just a budget thing that they doesn't bother to animate all these extra, or is that just like something just happened in the state of mind of either one of these two characters.
I didn't even notice that the extras were not
Yeah.
moving.
Not even they not only that they are not moving, like some of the rooftop I think they feature the same extra, so the same set of people just standing there.
Well, that since this is anime we're watching, that just sounds like you know,
Yep.
they don't want to draw new people.
Yep, yep. Well, so but I keep that in mind, because like this show have been a bit expressionist. I still can't pinpoint about its world building yet.
Uh, I don't know.
Mhm.
I mean, in terms of like world design or just the general ratio of more natural looking layouts versus like the kind of grimy, color filtered cities
Hmm.
that like dominated the first film. This one at least had a little bit more life to it, I thought. Um, uh, Background repeating frozen background characters notwithstanding. You know, we were allowed to glimpse the sky, on a
Hmm.
more regular basis than whatever was going on in the first film, where they were trapped inside this detective agency like endlessly. And then whenever we went outside, it was nighttime, and there was going to be some sort of dead body and or ghost fight.
Yep.
Um,
So
so I don't know.
yes. So I would say like the relationship between Shiki and Kokoto gonna be like the main overriding emotion theme that we see in this the whole franchise, because the first one spent like the first 10 minutes, feel like 10 minutes of them talking together about ice cream and strawberry.
Yeah,
I still remember that.
I mean, both films have opened with Kokoto and Shiki.
Yep, yep, yep. True. Um, by saying that though, this one meant to be in the introduction, so I can see like how they starting to know each other and how they like appear to be fun of each other. I can see that. I'm still not really sure about the Shiki the characters. I because of her two personalities, so she is a lot of inconsistent and not
Yeah,
not totally relatable.
well, she's not supposed to be. Kokoto is the everyman character, which is
Well,
why it's
and
such a problem that his mental state is
true,
like
true,
totally
true.
borked.
Yep, true.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't even know
it,
what to take about her Shiki. The split personality. It just feel weird to me. It
well, I
weird
mean,
me out.
what subs were you watching? Do you remember the scene where she's
Oh,
like explaining the fact that she has a dual personality, and she says
right.
there's
Yep.
Shiki and then there's Shiki. So what did your sub say in that
Yeah,
scene?
yeah. Myself say that as well. There is Shiki and there is Shiki. The other one Shiki is like um
All
all in
caps.
caps. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we had the same translation.
And it's not
And
helpful at all.
yeah, well, you could tell that when she wrote out both names, like they were spelled differently. Like the
Right.
characters that were used,
Yep.
the Japanese characters were different, because in Japanese there's multiple, because they have all the different writing systems. There's different ways to
Yep.
write the same
Name.
syllables,
Mm.
but using different systems. So I mean, I don't know. I get that she has. That's what she's done in her mind, I suppose, is compartmentalize, and she writes them differently as a way of thinking about them differently. But beyond that, we don't really know. Like, I'm not saying there should have been like some visual clue, to know which one is which, like which
Mm.
Shiki you're seeing. That I mean, that takes away from the mystery of it.
Um.
But we there's just not enough time for us to start to sense which one is which.
Yep. Yep.
And I mean, obviously, it's the crazy Shiki who's appearing whenever there's like a murder or a killing,
Mm.
and usually at school, it's the more subdued, heiress to some upper class Japanese family.
Yep.
But like, I don't know, maybe it's because the story doesn't like we don't reach a point of tension where like there's any sort of breaking point between the two personalities,
Yep.
because one is usually appearing at school, one is usually appearing elsewhere, and there's no point at which they're like vying for dominance, really.
Mm.
They
Mhm.
seem to be working mostly in harmony,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I don't know. I feel as though that might be a problem, because then, like, we're just coasting along and I don't know, no point of tension arises. Like,
R-
we're just delivered a character with two personalities, asked to accept that, and never, like, we don't move beyond that.
Yep, I agree, and but by that extent, it may be that Shiki pretend to have like another personality. Um, I do feel that like when the first time Shiki asked Kokoto to hang out with her, and she act like with like a very different uh behavior, more.
Yeah, that's the murderer Shiki.
Oh, is it? Because I couldn't tell. I saw that that set of personality just you know doesn't match with like the two Shiki that we have seen so far. That's the
Oh,
murderous one. All right.
yeah, that's the killer. I mean,
All
it's
right.
not as though the other Shiki only comes out when it's time for like
All right. So
blood
the
and stuff.
outgoing one is the murderous one.
Yeah. I mean, she even says they have like McDonald's or something together at the mall. I don't remember. I don't know. They're
Yeah.
eating in some fast food place. You see like French fries
Uh,
on their tray. Anyways, what is
that's
the
it.
Japanese obsession with McDonald's? It must be marketed really differently over there. If it's like a place that you take a girl. Um,
All right. I don't know what it's advertised thing in America, but here, McDonald's and KFC advertise it. Like you have the meal together as a family. Everyone could come and enjoy the happy meal together.
wow. Yeah, it's. I mean, it originated here in America, so maybe we're all just like sick of it at this point.
Yeah.
But it is not marketed in any particular
But
way here like that. It's not. It's just like it's cheap food,
yeah.
and you're
Well,
fat, so come get some. That's
yeah. That's
basically what
and
McDonald's is here.
the other thing is like the kid thing of McDonald's or KFC as restaurant.
Well, I think that's just something that kids do because they
Uh,
eat when they're growing up, they eat most of their meals in their home,
mm,
and
mm.
then when you leave the house and go eat
Eat out.
anywhere, that is a restaurant.
All right. That makes sense. That makes sense.
What were we talking about? Oh yeah. So
The
during
cheat,
that scene,
the cheat in her
Shiki,
food.
yeah, Shiki explains that she's there. Like the other Shiki, the quote unquote normal one, I guess, doesn't is in control most of the time, and she wouldn't let the murder Shiki come out unless she actually
Mhm.
like did want to meet with Kokuto.
All right. Now
The
I
the
got that.
crazy Shiki like
Mm.
explains that pretty calmly. And honestly, I think that scene was part of why I wasn't really into her character that much, is because the way that she explains that so matter of factly is another sign that there's really no conflict between the two.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, we're just kind of drifting through the story and not being, I don't know, pulled through. Like nothing is pulling me through the story on any sort of like emotional level, or I'm not like relating to her character or feeling for her or
Yep.
having any particular hope or wish for her. I'm just watching like a character who says they have two personalities, and
We take
okay,
that
I
at
guess
face
that's
value,
huh.
and we take that at face value.
Yeah, I mean, we're not encouraged to doubt it. We're not encouraged to root for one or the other. We're not encouraged to see the two of them come together because they
Yep.
do already appear to be mostly together. So I'm
Mhm.
not sure what I'm supposed to feel. Like, I'm not sure how to engage with her character.
Right. And I think I had the same problem in the later of the film, whereas Shiki trying to kill Kokoto. I just don't know what I'm supposed to feel, what I'm supposed to take from that. Because
Well, yeah,
I'm pretty sure that I don't care either of the characters.
yeah, that's the
Uh,
problem, man.
yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Uh,
he she wants to kill him. He doesn't want to die. I mean, wh- at that moment in the film, like whatever the result is fine by me. She can kill him. She cannot. Just get on with it. Stop. I don't want to have to listen to this guy like gasp for breath anymore. It's been like 30 seconds. Can we just get to the next scene?
yeah.
That was my thought process.
Right.
So I wasn't. I wasn't. How did it end? How did the film end? I can't
All right. The
remember too
film
well.
end like 3 years later. I think 2 or 3 years later. In another timeline where Kokoto is already in that detective agency,
I think it's
and
probably the same
he.
timeline. It's just the future,
All right. All right.
right?
I think it's like in 1998, so it might be the same timeline. But the thing is, Kokuto go to the hospital and he visit a girl there. I think that was Shiki. I'm not really sure on that, but I
Yeah,
think that was Shiki.
yeah, I think so. Like she's hospitalized because she's insane, probably, or
And
something. Yeah, and you notice that he buys a bouquet of flowers before he goes,
right,
and so that's what triggered the ghost person from the first film, like what triggered her desire to like
yep,
possess him or to possess others to get closer to him, whatever her goal was. Because that's what she says. Like she always sees him coming to the hospital with flowers, and she
yep.
gets really attached to him. So
I I was, like at first I was thinking that might be that girl that like Kokoto just visit. But then I think that it might be Shiki, but I'm not. I just feel inconsistent because we saw Shiki in the first movie healthy. I'm not sure.
I think I mean it has to be Shiki, right? Like she's in the hospital. He's going to go see her because he's like in love with her or attracted to her, whatever term you want to use. So he takes the flowers and he goes to see her. And I mean, this is the first film.
Mm-hmm.
And so even with the 3 year time skip, which brings us up to the present day, I think even after that time skip, it is still the first film chronologically. Um, and the later films are going to be set even after this 1998 hospital visit, after Shiki gets out.
Right, right.
Um, I don't know. I don't remember the first film having any dates at the bottom of the screen, like establishing the time period the way this one did. But
It does.
Oh, it does.
I think it does say 1998. Somehow that timeline just stuck with me in the first films.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I think I think all this stuff, even the 3 year time skip, happens first, and Shiki's gonna get out, and then, I mean, she loses her arm, right? So
Yep.
her arm has to get replaced. So maybe the reason that she's in the hospital is because she lost her arm, for whatever reason. You remember how she lost her? Like we saw that she's got a mechanical arm now. In the
Yep.
first film, we learned that about her. So maybe that could be the reason she's in the hospital because she has
Well,
a.
I have one theory that maybe that Shiki that the Shiki that we see in the first movie is not like the real body, the real Shiki. So like the real Shiki was still in the hospital, and that Shiki was made artificially by by the technique of those dolls. So that's why she had like the hand, the artificial hand. So they inject like a show or like another personality of Shiki in there. That's my
Yeah,
theory
or
so far.
that's a pretty good one. Or it could be that she's able to possess the artificial body from her hospital room, the same way
Right,
that
right.
the ghost lady from the first film was able to do the same thing.
Yep, yep.
That's possible. Yeah.
Kind of makes sense.
It does,
Uh,
but I didn't get the sense that Shiki's body in the first film was entirely artificial. I thought it was just like her. I thought it was just her arm, because that's the only thing that the red-haired doctor girl
mm,
mentions, and that's the only
yeah.
thing she works on is the arm.
Mm.
Um,
I think
but I don't know. It could be like that her whole body's artificial in some way.
yep. I think it's kind of like a central mystery for the whole series. So
Well, I guess, but like not at this point. At least not in this second film.
yep. So
The only mystery of this film is who cares?
the only
It's the big mystery.
yeah, the only mystery in this film is like the Ishiki, the one who killed on this, and they didn't even proceed to answer that.
Well, yeah, because it's
Like,
part A. But I mean, I think it's pretty clear that she didn't do it.
for us, yes, because she's the main characters.
Yeah, but pretty much, yeah.
All right.
I mean, are there any? Oh, I suppose I was about to ask. Are there any like stories where you just like the serial murderer is the protagonist, like is the main character who you follow? But then it popped into my head, Death Note.
Oh yes.
In Death Note, the main character is the murderer.
Yeah. Well. It's kind of different. Like if we're talking about like who done it, like a mysteries. If we're talking strictly about that sense, yeah, I don't think I can think of any good example of the show.
Well, I mean, obviously there wouldn't be in a whodunit, right? Because a whodunit is about who done it.
Right.
It's about the mystery. You can't follow the main. You can't follow the murderer in a mystery, like a strict mystery. I'm just talking about like, I don't know, films, books, shows, whatever, where where the murderer is the main character. And Death Note is the one that jumped to mind.
Yep.
I don't know. Like I'm thinking of like Fincher films. Even in Fincher films, it's usually where there's a serial murderer or something. It's usually the cops who you follow, right?
Fight Club. Have you seen Fight Club?
I have, but that's not about murder, is it?
Yeah. Well, he's still the one who like wrecking havoc.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but it's not about like a killer.
No,
like
it's
a
not
serial
about
killer or anything.
Yeah, I see.
Death Note is actually about a serial killer, and they're the main character.
All right.
I'm sure there must be. I'm sure, like in the huge like century spanning history of film, there must be films like that, And of course, like literature stretches even longer, far longer. So there must be. I remember reading The Stranger in high school, which is a French novel about a guy who kills someone one day. Like it's an existential novel, and he kills someone like to experience it, because he feels dead, and so he wants to connect with someone by, I don't know, delivering them the same feeling. I can't remember it exactly, but anyway, that's not anime related.
All right. Would you still be interested enough to watch the others?
No.
All right.
After this one, no.
Oh, that's a shame. I think I will try to watch to the end to see how everything wrap up together.
I mean, there's like 9 films, so
8, 9. Yep.
Yeah, there might be only 8, and then but I know there is a 9th one, but it's I don't know, maybe it's not part of the
it's just
the
a
same
recap,
canon,
I think.
or okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not that kind of person. Like if a story is not interesting to me, I don't need to see how it ends. I wanna finish the stories that are like really intriguing to me. And I mean, it's not as though Kara no Kyokai is without its share of mystery. I mean, it's clearly built that way, to intrigue. But I don't find it intriguing.
Yeah, it's not intriguing enough for us to follow the rest. I can see that. Yeah.
Not for me. But that's everybody's decision to make individually,
Yeah. All right.
So we got to figure out what we're gonna cover next week instead of Kara no Kyokai.
Yep. All right, we're gonna do that.
We'll work on it.
Right. All right. I think we're gonna end the podcast early this week.
Yeah, you got to get some sleep, right?
Right. Thank you for listening, guys. And next week we're gonna pick out another show, classic show to talk about, or even manga.
Oh yeah, that's a possibility too. We'll see.
Yep. All right. See you soon, guys.
Bye bye.